there's no other girls with similar problem, and they may to have the option to get for help. So what do you think about the Dr. Lin's action to insist on doing the surgery without notifying her parents?
So seems like we have a tie here, like it's a big change from the last poll. So can someone who changed their mind speak up, or why do you think now is you choose the other option?
Why do you change your mind?
Yeah, why do you change your mind?
Because I watched this TV series, I know the result, but I will forget this time. Because for personal integrity, like associated with personal integrity, like it's really important to help the girls, especially like in this situation. And if she didn't do the surgery, it might like scare other girls away. They couldn't like come to like ask for help. So like it's really important like do after the surgery, it has lots of good effects more than the bad effects. So
But the bad effect is that she could lose her license as a medical practitioner.
yeah, so like it's the risk, and she's gonna take the risk to help the girl. So that's why I vote for yes.
Okay, I definitely voted no for this. First of all, she's doing this completely illegally. That's legal action. She cannot operate on someone who like is a minor who brings a fake ID to the hospital, and she knows this. She has this knowledge. It's not that she didn't know about it. So she knows this, and she operates. She still operates illegally. And even if if the operation passes, is successful or anything, what if there's what about the future? Like, what if there's consequences where maybe the girl has some other other problems that was caused by this operation, or what about insurance companies, or what about this girl's actual like what will be her reputation in the future? Like that's like there's a lot of things to consider, and also this doctor is also putting the hospital's reputation at stake by doing this operation. So that's yeah.
We will let the speak first.
I think I don't think we did the right thing because it may have serious consequence to the girl's health. Also, if she wants to help more girls, she could just identify the fact why the girl come here with fake ID, and then she could probably do the surgery or not. But if she just do the surgery without know why, it has too many risks, and so I don't agree with it.
Guys, please raise your name tag. For the past couple of, I have not been able to know what your names are, so I would not be able to track it. Okay, thank you. What about Team 6? I couldn't see you raise the name tag. Thank you.
So I will still vote for no, because I think this is only for the TV series and only for the show to get your sympathy. But actually, the doctor is not changing anything. Just try to. It's not the right way to help the girls. The only way, the right way to do is to change the tradition, like to try to change the tradition of their wrongdoing, the culture, but not because every day there are more girls getting the wrong surgery to remove their genitals, but that's not the right thing for the doctor to try to help every girl that's seeking for. That's not a good thing to do actually.
I think it's just a conflict. That's one of the remarks at the end, the conflict between the justice and the mercy. The doctor knows it's illegal to operate the
Yes.
surgery, but I think because she's a woman too, so she feel a stronger empathy for the girl. So that's why she wants to insist to do this surgery, right?
I totally agree with Wen Ting and Hui Feng, because I vote for no as well. But first of all, like they said, what will happen next to the girl when the parents find out she did the surgery? Are they going to hurt her again? So saving one person doesn't really mean save everyone. So it doesn't really solve the problem. My second point is, I think a doctor should not decide who to save and who not to save just by their personal judgment. Just like a police cannot sentence who should die, even though they did really bad crimes, but they do not have the right to sentence who should get the help and who should not. So that's why we need the law. Yeah.
Just one more point I want to add. So there are distinctions between what's legal and what's moral. Something that's legal that may not be moral to a lot of people, and something that's moral, for example, the doctor is doing the operation. Well, in her opinion, that's moral, but then that's totally not legal thing to do. So that's just, that's what everyone should think before reacting.
Yeah, so, okay. Has anyone voted yes to want to approve that? Yeah. Anybody else? Because we simplify our time, but most of the people willing to share their opinion are replying to no. Because the doctor did find a loophole, like to keep everyone out of the responsible if there is about this illegal action. So, if there's not any more opinion, we could move on to the next. Okay, let's move on to the next. So after this surgery, it did have some plot twists because the doctor, the girl, after the surgery, she had great pain, and she has to go through another surgery, and for now they have to notify their parents, and the next surgery it has two options, and so we could let me show you about these two options and about what do you think of it, what happened.
Yeah. Hello, Laura. I'm Ella Matra. I'm a social worker. Your parents know what happened, and Dr. Lin gave you a nerve block. It hurts. It still hurts. I understand that, and we are going to try to get you back to sleep as quickly as possible. But something happened during your surgery, and we need you to make a decision about what is done next.
We believe that despite what was done to you as a child, the reason you're in so much pain is because you still have functioning nerves in your clitoris, nerves that have been covered with scar tissue. I'd like to repair that. We can make you physiologically complete.
But there's no guarantee that would work.
I'm confident.
There is a safer choice.
We could remove your entire clitoris.
This is your choice. You will be protected no matter what. Take it out.
Laura, we can make you whole.
I made a mistake. Take it out.
She's on medication. She's in pain.
Dr. Lin, please let her go back to sleep.
So there are two options. Is one to fully repair her digital, and another one is to fully to remove. But the fully removed surgery seems to be a lot safer and has less risk. And based on this plot, she decided to do the remove surgery. But the doctor don't think she really want to do the remove, so she asked her again without the parents absent, because she think that the parents maybe influence the child's mind.
In our legal department. When I was 15 years old, my father hit me. a piece of tissue from inside your cheek, and I want to graft it to your clitoris. We can make you feel love. I can't turn my back on my family, on my traditions. Traditions connect us to the past. What about the future? Please. No, I'm in pain.
So after the doctor talked to the girl, it seemed like the girl insisted on doing a remove surgery, but it's showing that the girl actually wanted to, the doctor still believed that the girl wanted to do the repair surgery to be fully recover as a woman and to experience the feeling in the world. And so the plot in the end is the doctor actually did the surgery to help repair her fully without notifying anyone. So, do you think the doctor did the right thing? So because you think that the removal surgery would make the girl not feeling anything down there, so the doctor think the girl actually she wanted to do the surgery to help fully repair, even though it seems like the girl just spoke to her like I didn't want to do it because she's too afraid or too ashamed, and that the doctor she really thinks that according to the plot it might be true. So what do you think with Dr. Lin's action?
So her action is just talk to the girl, or she actually did the surgery to repair the hole.
He did the surgery.
So even the girl
After.
says no,
Yeah.
but she's
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Still need to consider him.
Yeah, the doctor think that culture was like connect to the past, but he think the girl should enjoy the future sexual loving
Traditions
after
don't
that.
just link us to the past, they also
Yeah.
keep us present in the
And
the society,
The
yeah.
doctor think that the girl was in great pain because the surgery affected his response. So the doctor may think that the girl should enjoy the future life of that surgery. So it's kind of
I think everyone knows football, and I think the main reason for this is because the patient insists on no, and the doctor didn't. I think the doctor didn't feel like he. I think she betrayed his professional to obey his stronger mercy for the girl, but I think I think she did it wrong. So yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. How can we tell? How can doctor tell the girl real thinking is to?
Yeah, that's the question. I think
Yeah.
the doctor feel like he knows, but actually
She.
Yeah, she.
So it's the doctor's own judgment, right?
Yeah, so the doctor's kind of neglecting, at least in the US, what the patient rights would be
Yes.
in this
Yes.
case, which would be to make her own decision about her body's future. Can we maybe move to the next one?
Yeah. Okay.
Very interesting.
Yes. There's our next. How many of you guys have seen the movie Batman: The Dark Knight? Okay, so most of you have watched that movie. So in the movie, there's a scene. We all know the bad guy called Joker. So in the movie, Joker. The Joker wrecks two Ferris with explosive, and one ferry contains all the innocent civilians, and the other contains the criminals. So, and he announced that, and he provide each boat with a trigger to another boat's explosive, and he announced that both of the failure will be exploded if one of them are not destroyed by the other. What if you're on the boat? What would you choose, to pull the trigger or no? We all seen the movie, right? I'm not move for this one. It's not relevant. I just asking like, it's a movie thing because we all know the ending. No one pulls the trigger and all the passenger has survived, right? And actually, this scene was is based on a classic thought experiment called the Trady problem. It states that there's a running trailer moving towards 5 tight people on the track, and the train is just out of control. So actually, you are the third person standing next to the track, and there's a level next to you that controls the track. If you pull the level, it's the train will direct it to another side track. But there's one person light on that track as well. So it's 5 versus 1. So you are the person. What would you do? Pull the trigger, pull the level or not?
So is everybody actually doing the poll? Because I could see that some people are just sitting idly.
I think everyone should do the poll.
Yeah, everyone should do it. I mean, it's a.
Yeah, please.
Please do it if you're not.
So most of them, have anyone, everyone does the poll? Can someone speak up for doing nothing?
Well, I voted A, not because I agreed to kill the 5 people on the main track, but because it is a very tough decision to make. I might, while I was thinking about what should I choose, like, that probably no time to choose, and that will probably be the end. But it is very hard to to value one life and the 5 others. It's not a scale that you can actually measure. So that for me, I will probably just end up doing nothing about it though.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. My intention is very easy. So I'll do nothing because pulling the lever, diverting the trolley will make me a killer. So that makes I don't want to be a killer.
Okay. Vote for B. Do something.
No,
you
I
can
just
speak
chose
first.
A because I think although the 5 people are going to die, but I don't have any rights to decide that person should die.
Okay.
It's a difficult choice when you have like 1 person versus 5 people. But what if you have 1 person versus a billion people? Would you let a billion people die or just 1 person?
Yeah.
So it's also interesting to see here that not taking any action is also an action.
Yes.
Well, I think here's a dilemma between justice and mercy, and if you choose to pop leverage, you should choose the B, and then you act like a mercy person. But if you choose do nothing, you just leave the things and keep the justice.
Only for pull the level. Because there's just one person. I think there's more, right? But we'll vote for no.
I think the personal, the point of doing nothing is, the major reason of doing nothing is being afraid of being the consequence of convicted as a murderer or as a killer. But in the aspect of doing the right thing, I mean, if you ignore the consequence, I would probably put a lever because I mean, although life is I mean, the value of life is like unmeasurable, but 5 is in every aspect larger than 1. So I mean, doing that is making a choice to prevent larger deaths. So I would put a lever.
Okay. Actually, I had a follow-up question. Like now it's 1 versus 5, but how about 1 versus 1,000, like 10,000, a million? Would you pull the lever? Like it's just a question to discuss. Now, do you still think not taking the action is also right? Like
it's not because of the number of people.
Okay.
So what if there are thousands of like people like bad people and one like a president of a country? What would you do? Right?
Yes. So adding more information, like think about like for people who do nothing, like what if one of your relatives is among those 5 persons, were you willing to pull the lever? So I think it's interesting question to think because adding more information and more the complexity of this question, which brings your I think I am not to change, but like to affect your standard of moral integrity, right? You think it's the right thing to not. You think you should choose do nothing, but like when numbers change, when the relationship change, I think some of you the choice will be different from what we saw here, right? Okay, now consider another who already go for okay. That's a question based on the a previous scenario. So it's the same train, it's out of control, it's 1 person versus 5. But now the only way to stop it is to putting something really heavy in front of the train, like to stop the train. And now you are standing on the bridge, and the train is go through that bridge. And now there's a very fat person standing next to you, and you can choose to push the guy to the track to stop train. Would you do that? I think we have agreement on no, but who for yes, or it's just a mistake, or someone just actually think yes should do that.
Actually, can we just go to the previous question? I thought that was a really good point that you made in terms of how our choices really change when we see, let's say, someone who is close to us versus someone whom we are not aware of. So I would just get some perspective from the audience here in terms of what do they think. Let's say if your relative is standing right in front of the track as compared to someone you don't know, what would be your action in that case?
Well, I will pull the lever and I will commit a murder and I will.
I didn't understand that. Can you please say that again?
I will pull the lever to save my relative, and then I will commit a murder, and I will behind the bars.
But on one side you have a relative, on the other side you have 10,000 people. What will you do then?
What's on the track?
So on one side you have your own relative whom you know for the past 25 years, who is very close to you, He loves you.
Yeah,
You
I
also
will
love
save-
him.
I will save the one close to me.
And you'll kill the rest of 10,000 people?
Yes. Yeah, and I will convict the murder, and I will go to the police station.
You don't have to. I mean, the train is on the track to that 1,000 people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
I will do nothing.
I have a question. I didn't watch the movie, but if you pull the lever, did the trolley just came to another side and came across with another train? This can also cause damage by thousands of people's life. Is this possible?
Yeah, but just in current situation.
So you
Yeah, just assuming one was right.
Yeah, so that is the assumption, that you
Yeah,
have
that's
just
the
one
assumption.
train and otherwise you can like come up with so many different scenarios, you know? Yeah. Okay, we can move ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So back to our question. Who voted for yes to push the fat man to stop the train? Okay, then why do you think it's no for you to push the fat man?
He's not doing anything wrong. He's just bad. Nothing wrong with him.
I think the main difference between this case and the previous one is in this one you actually intended to take an action to stop the train, and you're even though you're saving saving some people, but by hurting another innocent person. So even for a good cause, we say you save more people, but it's still a wrong thing to do, right? We can agree on that one. Can you agree?
You have a,
Is there any right or wrong answer in this?
No. I think for this question, most people will say no, but for the previous one, they're still debating from the different perspective. For one main perspective to maximize the utility, so you need, based on this situation, even no action means an action. So you have to, from the utility view that the
utilitarian.
Yeah, utilitarian view is there's either one is morally wrong, but you have to make a better option. It's a better option. It's not a right thing. It's just a better option, right? And from another view, it seems the human life cannot be measured based on the quantity.
I think the only difference between this case and the previous one is how cruel your action is. So this one you are the direct criminals. The previous one you are like it's indirect. You are pulling the lever. So that's just in terms of seriousness or intensity your action. And I think this case became popular was because a Harvard open course called Justice, What's the Right Thing to Do? If you guys are interested, you can watch the professor's notes. He has really good explanation about this, and there is really no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, there's
Michael Sandel.
Yes.
So I think the easy choice to do is between the right or wrong moral choice, but the hard thing to do is between right and right. You know both action has some bad consequence, and you know it also has bad good cost, but it's just hard to choose. Yes.
Let's move to the next case. Yes, we always know that there are always some conflicts between the moral standard and the law standards. Like, have you ever seen a movie like Dying to Survive? We can see we can see there's a few parts of this movie.
更何况咱们现在还有这便宜药不是？谢谢大家。
静一下。
Hard to see what's happening. Can you turn the lights?
我听说你们大家不配合，我们办案是讲证据，从你们每一个人身上都搜出我想说，你们配合还是不配合，看你们一样的。包庇犯罪有犯罪，我也不你们这么做，不是没办法，是以后。 知道，你有啥？
You guys have like 5 minutes left for your presentation. 5 to 10 minutes.
3块钱一瓶，真不好吃。好吃，家人没有吃过。现在好不容易我便宜了。 你们非说这是假的，那要假不假？我们不知道吗？那药才卖500块钱一瓶，要犯罪根本没赚钱，是假的更是会便宜。那你就能保证你这一辈子不生病吗？啊？
你跟我说这些没有用，15天快到了，人必须抓到。局长，
我们现在总是要出事儿，这等于是在证明我违法。我什么不好办？
你不好办，你以为我好办？小伟，法大于情的事情，你见来少吗？我们作为执法者，就应该站在法律这一边。张凯。
Okay. In this case, if you are the victim, you are the police, would you choose to proceed the inspection? Because we understand that if you quit the inspection, there are always someone to take your place. The inspection will proceed, but we are standing in the victim's shoes. So if you are the officer, if you are the police, so in your perspective, what would you do?
first case, the doctor did not, is basically as for the officer, she doesn't have right to choose which decision she can make. She could only like do the behavior and execute what the chief says. And basically, I think it's also belongs to the justice and mercy. Obviously, on this movie, the officer choose. Currently, version is choose to the mercy, but as for me, I currently very agree with what the chief says. Like they need to agree with the law. That's what the law why the law exists.
Anybody go for no? Right. I may wait the inspection. The other case.
I voted for no.
Yeah.
It's a very sad story. Obviously, someone is going to continue the investigation.
Yes.
But for me, I rather this is not justify me. It's kind of a duty feel that I don't want to afford that. But I don't think it's kind of similar to the doctor's case, but it's not exactly similar. The doctor is breaking the law to do what she wants to do, but I'm not breaking the law to do what I want.
Yes.
Well, going from your point, I voted yes because I would rather have myself like doing the investigation rather than knowing someone else will continue doing that and maybe not caring about the patients. So I mean I know I care, so I will keep investigating and maybe in the future I will be able to change something. But if I let someone else do that, I might not be able to do that. So that's.
Because I vote for no, because I cannot feel guilty of the millions of the patients who have cancer. They may die for the expensive drugs. Because the fake drug is more cheaper and their lives depend on that. So like I don't want to take that. There was too much for me, so I may choose the no. But I understand that there may be someone take my place.
Well, I voted for yes because I think this is an individual case, right?
Yes.
What about other medical dealers case, fake management case?
Yes.
Those dealers could make huge amount of money of the fake medicine, and maybe those fake medicines could do harm to the patients.
Yes.
And if I don't proceed this inspection, I also cause damage to the authority of the police.
Yeah, I understand. I think I picked no because that I want to touch another case, like the case you mentioned, not this particular case.
Well, but the people will say the police don't like proceed the inspection of the fake medicine case.
I think our professor has
Can you guys conclude in about 3 minutes?
I think this is different from the last case because in the last case they were making the trade-off between number of lives, but this one is like life and legitimate. And I think the value of life is always above the value of law. So it's definitely legitimate to. I mean, it's legit for one to do anything to keep himself living, even breaking the law. And it's definitely a holding a position above law. But one counter argument I can speak from this case is the company who invented this drug, they need a research and development funding from the money coming from the pricing. So if you are paying the price to those companies, that might speed up their research into other medicines, even some medicines for very rare symptoms, and that might also save lives of other people having other illnesses. So that will become to another trade-off.
I want to comment on your view about the one can do anything even to break law to save their lives. I don't agree with you because one can come up 1,000 of excuse to do that. Then what do we need law for? Like law is intended to protect the society, the justice, to I won't say completely to protect the fairness, but like in max degree to ensure the society's justice and fairness. If you said everyone can do it, even to break law, to do anything, the society will be in a chaos.
You're making a right point, but I mean, just from one's personal perspective.
Yeah.
But also, it's important to think about laws that are no longer relevant. For example, in the United States, the civil rights movement was a whole movement to say these segregation laws that don't afford opportunities, equal opportunities to Black Americans is not a moral law. They protested against that law. Maybe that's just, but I see your point about everyone can't go around breaking all the laws, but we're constantly in a position of trying to move forward while remaining adherent to our reasons and traditions that work well and try to dispose of those that don't.
So I think in conclusion, sometimes it's really hard for us to choose between the right and right situation, but we have a standard moral ethics on society, but I think the basic principles to follow those standards and based on the different situation and the complexity, we may choose to we may take the different action, but for each action we take, I think it's important for us to take responsibility for that. So that's our.
Great,
thank you very much.
Now, if we can have the team 6 to start the debrief.
Okay, now?
Maybe gather your thoughts and then,
Yeah.
but can you go up to the front of the room and present yourself as leaders of the debrief? Maybe you want to bring up the document so everyone can see it. The leading the debrief document so everyone can follow along. It's probably already open. I think it's already open.
Oh, you were just using,
Yeah. It's right there in the tab, next tab.
So, I know this is the first week, and I think Group 1 did a pretty good job doing, leading the discussions and asking questions and showing us videos, and they also use a lot of polls, which I think.
Sorry, everyone should be paying attention because the critique of the team helps your team to use that information going forward and making your presentation very strong. So the teams that go after week 1 have the benefit of seeing the critique of week 1 and going forward for everyone else.
Well, I think they did a good job, and you guys use a lot of polls and asking questions, so everyone can participate in the discussion. So I think those are good, and you also pointed out a lot of thought experiments, like pulling the trolling problem and using movie examples. So those are very related examples that we can all discuss. And sorry. Go ahead.
So sorry, was that the entire discussion leadership team section?
Oh no, we used to have like the.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the second point, what do we appreciate the most? First of all, I like that we do the votes, so everyone actually can participate in the discussion. And I like the discussion leaders that they put up different scenarios and they add more conditions into scenarios so we can go deeper in the questions.
And for the suggestion, we think the leadership can put background information in the PowerPoint so everyone could be clear about what they say and the background information. And they could use more body language to interact with the students. They could come to the middle of the class to attract their attention. And they should take control of time. Time is limited. Everyone wants to have their opinion, but they should meet the response time. And at the end, they could summarize the main points to highlight the theme, the personal integrity, to let everyone know what they learn about their presentation.
That's a good point.
So regarding the class contributions, most of the class participated, and I think it's a very good discussion. I'm just gonna point out some distribution that I'm very impressed. So I'm impressed of the Chen Wen's contribution, giving the scenario like 1 president and 1,000 criminal, like what should we choose? I think that's a very good one. And I'm also impressed in what Wen Hao said about like about the final scenario, saying like although she thinks it's not the right thing to do, but she will try to commit into this issue and maybe control the situation a little bit. So I like her attitudes about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone's made their contribution to the discussion. So I mean that's really good for the for our first discussion.
And do you have any suggestions for improving class contribution?
Oh, okay. Well, maybe for group 2, T2, you might want to use cold calls. Just pointing out people. Hey, do you wanna answer this question? Hey, do you wanna join the conversation or something? Yeah. Maybe yeah. So like actually putting people on. I mean, they might get people might wanna being shy and not talking about things, but if you put them on the point, you have to say something. They'll probably have more meaningful or more contributional things to say about the theme.
Can you come down to the document?
Oh, okay.
In terms of your contributions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there are these 2 points also that we can discuss with you.
Okay, so here, do you mean the person or the entire group?
I think just the entire group.
Okay, so I think we
So I think I already talked about what she said about like taking responsibility and try to commit in the things she doesn't agree with, but she just tries to control the situation. I think that is a very good contribution, in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I would have said everything we wanted to say about this.
Anyone else? Maybe not from the group, but anyone else who thought that maybe anything could be relevant or could be like an important point that you missed out or you didn't get a chance to say that?
Just for the Brody software, because I didn't use that before. I'm not sure about the parts, but maybe we can add number count stuff so we know if everybody have voted for the question.
Good point, yeah.
For some questions, I would suggest to add the options other or neutral or something, because because it's moral dilemma. There would be situations that very hard to decision, and I think maybe we should give chance to those people to express their idea on why it's why they prefer to be neutral on this problem.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was going to just say in regards to the presentation, you had these points from the Kidder video. I think that's Kidder video. But where's the team? Okay. Yeah, but I don't know. Did anyone actually discuss them before you jumped into the polling and the cases? Because it was helpful that you wrote them here, but I think it would have been good to actually orally present these ideas before jumping into the cases, since this idea of right dilemma and these competing values claims in order to analyze a case, you wanted them to be used in the analysis. So make sure that you orally articulate the ideas from the readings that you want to frame your discussion of cases, just from a communication perspective. Okay.
Great, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I think it was a great session, and I'm sure we all have had. I think it was a great presentation. I would say, like I really like the polls idea, and like it was a great way to have interaction. And basically, I think another great point which was made by G was that if you can include numbers in terms of if you can track how many people are actually voting. But overall, I think it was a great presentation, and it was a great set of videos that were shown. But it would also be great if we can include like real life cases. So personal integrity is something which you can see in a lot of organizations as well. And there are so many cases in the media, or if you just look at the Hopkins library, right, you will find so many cases on ethics. So if you can pick one of those maybe in your subsequent presentations, that would be great, because most of the content that we saw today was around movies and like TV shows or something like that. But like especially if you like consider big organizations, so they always have this ethical dilemma or moral dilemma where big CEOs or the C-suite executives always fall under this trap of integrity. So it would be great if you can include that in your subsequent presentations. But overall, I would say a very good job, and thank you so much.
Can I just add one
Sure.
thing? So I think were supposed to also discuss the DuPont case. Oh, you guys kind of did discuss the DuPont case.
Right.
Yeah. That was, yeah, okay, we did do that at the beginning.
Right,
Yeah.
but you're also expecting that if you can go a little deep into the DuPont case, because I think we just saw some high-level analysis of what the case was, but if you can focus more on how personal integrity was related to the DuPont case, I think that would have been great. But overall, I think it was a pretty good job.
My final note is keep your videos under 2 minutes. Try to if you can, because sometimes it eats up time. Your videos are too long.
And also, one thing that we observed was that if you're having any video, the content of the video should be something which everybody is comfortable with. So if you are trying to put something on the video, it would be great if it's a topic which is, like it should not make anybody uncomfortable. So it's just a thing to note for the future sessions that we have.
And that was a really interesting case you guys chose. It was just the deeper we went into the detail of that scenario was, kind of hard to digest. So. But good job today.
Thank you. Before we break, I just need to click the pictures of each team. So it will just take 1 more minute. I'm not going to take more than 1 minute to just. So it's a request to the professor. So it's not that I'm going to keep any of the pictures. So I just need to click pictures so everybody can just raise their name tags. So only when I'm clicking the pictures, not with everyone else together. So I'll start from 1, 2, 3, and 4. Where is the source? Okay, that's fine.
We have our.
Yeah, sure.
So if you don't have any opinions, we may just upload this.
Yeah, so give me some time because like my laptop is on.
So you guys, what's your major?
Information systems.
So do you travel from class to class because of cohort?
No, most of our classmates are in the same class.
Currently, we don't. We just have the same classes for.
So like you didn't have business communication last term altogether?
We did.
We did, we have.
Yeah.
And who was your professor?
Kathleen.
Oh, okay.
Give me some because my laptop is out of battery, so I'll have to go to the library.
Yeah, but we just have to upload this before the midnight.
Yeah, so give me 1 or 2 hours.
Yeah, that's no problem. We just inform you if you have done all the modification, and we will upload this before midnight as well.快点写，我写了什么？我写的什么？我学了很多英语。
So if you guys have any doubts around what is supposed to post on Blackboard, you can still ask me. I'll just be very clear once again that as far as the live case is concerned, there are 2 things required. One is the discrete reflection course, and the other thing is the summary of the live case. As far as the other part of the class is concerned, which was around the viewpoint case, Team 1 has to upload the materials on Blackboard in the content highlight section, and all the other teams, including Team 1, basically has to complete the AAR. I mean, the AAR has to be done by Team 1, but the feedback has to be provided by all the other teams. So that's it. The AAR basically contains what worked for your team, what could have done better, something like something on those lines.
所以我们就是要出一个，就我们做的啥会 representation 一个，然后每个人各自回家再写上 critical， 然后一个。
Bye you all. Thank you. Thank you. Good weekend.
You got a question?
Yeah, could you repeat the first 2 things on the Blackboard that are required? I didn't hear them.
Are you talking about the critical reflection?
Yeah, so what exactly?
难受，非常难受。这个课真是。
But the line thing is the critical reflection. Somebody is basically and also the like the team.
哎，写个毛啊！
周日晚。
周日啊。周日啊。 我不知道，你连这都不知道啊？你们这话太危险了，你危险，你连这都已经救了，你连这都不知道哇？那你对于没救人，还是莫名其妙的死了。Personal feedback must be separated. But we don't know. We don't know the group period if you have to submit today, but we better the sooner the better.
Yeah, like 3 submissions of that.
Yeah.
Sorry, one second. Personal.
Yeah, personal submission.
What is that?
Personal summary of this course. What you learn from this session in this week. That is just the summary is critical feedback for yourself. And the group one we have done with that's 12 parts.
And then 3, I just stopped saying because there's
3 is
there is 1 for the last. See, there is like two for life feedback. We are going to provide feedback.
Yeah, we have the feedback for team is one group, one just provide one feedback for the team.
Yeah,
And the live
live feed, there are two things. One is the summary, one is the critical something.